Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
We will be sending out this recording today to all attendees and even those that have missed today. So please note that you can type your questions into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar, and we will answer those. Carlos will answer those throughout the call, and we'll have a Q&A portion. If you have any questions following the webinar, you can always email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. And that is all for me. So Carlos, take it away.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlos Gill. I am your MAPS group coach. And today I am going to share with you a few key insights and strategies to help you sell more homes online in 2018. So just a couple of housekeeping notes. We're going to be together for the next 30 minutes, and we are going to have time at the end for Q&A. So if you have any questions that come up from this presentation, or if you have any questions weighing on your mind pertaining to social media marketing and how you can be more effective with using social media in your real estate business, please feel free to get those questions in, and I'll try to answer as many of those as I can at the very end. So a little bit about me before we go ahead and jump right into it. Once again, my name is Carlos Gill. For those of you that are active on social media already, if you're on Twitter or on Instagram, be sure to find me at Carlos Gill 83. I'm really active all over social media, so you can find me not just on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, YouTube, you name it. I've been an instructor for MAPS since the beginning of 2017. So the program that I do is Social Media for Real Estate Agents. I'm going to tell you about that here in just a little bit. But over the last year, I've had the good fortune of being able to train personally. I've been able to train several hundred agents through the MAPS program. I've spent the last 10 years working in corporate social media. A few of the different brands I've worked for those of you that live in the southeastern part of the United States, you're probably familiar with Winn-Dixie, which is one of the largest supermarket chains in the US. I actually started social media for them. I spent time working over at Save-A-Lot running digital marketing before moving over to the West Coast, where I live now in California. I spent time working for LinkedIn, and then most recently, before starting my agency, which is Gill Media Co., I worked for BMC Software. So 10 years working in social media, and a lot of what I teach agents is pertaining to personal branding. It's also pertaining to marketing from like the corporate side, things like creating content, how to best engage, best practices for converting, setting up your CRM. These are all skill sets and strategies that I bring from the corporate arena. Once again, used to work for LinkedIn, so a lot of what I teach in my social media for real estate agents course comes from knowing social selling really well from the inside out, working for a social network. I'm also an award-winning Snapchat storyteller and influencer. And for those of you that either follow me already, or if you are going to be following me after this presentation, I'm also an international keynote speaker and I have a lot of content all over the web. So make sure that whether you sign up for the course or not, that we connect. And there's definitely a lot of knowledge that you can get by being connected to me. Now, before we jump into why we are here, today's presentation is very much a preview of what you can expect from our next course, which launches on Monday, April 9th. And that's called the 30-Day Guide to Sell More Homes Online. So last year in 2017, we did about 6 or 7 social media for real estate agents programs through MAPS. They were very much, I'd say, entry level for anyone that's just getting started in social media. We spent 4 weeks kind of going through and dissecting and breaking down all the various social networks, how you can use them. This new program for 2018 is much more of I'd say, an intermediate to advanced course. So we spent 4 Mondays together, again, starting April 9th. All the way through the end of the month. We're going to spend 4 Mondays together. They're 4 weekly 1-hour webinars plus Q&A. Typically, the Q&A takes about 25 to 30 minutes, so you get about 90 minutes all in on a weekly basis. So we're calling it the 30-Day Guide to Sell More Homes Online. And the reason why is because if you start this course on April 9th, I guarantee you that within a 30-day period or even less, you will be at a much more advanced level in terms of keeping your pipeline full with leads, being able to identify and connect with prospective buyers and sellers, and really being able to have a more well-rounded personal brand online. And once again, like all MAPS courses, they are recorded and then available for your convenience. The investment for this program is $197 one-time fee. You can go ahead and sign up at the link that you see there in front of you. And I just want to say, I've done my due diligence and homework, obviously, as a coach, and this is probably the best value, if not the best value, that you're going to find anywhere with any company, any service period, for the price and everything that you're going to get included with it. Now, the objective of not just the program, but even just the time that we're spending here together today over the next half hour or so is really to help you as an agent grow your pipeline. I recognize that, why are you taking the time to sit with me today? Why would you invest in the program? It's because you want to be able to generate more business. Absolutely. Now, how do you get there? There's a process that goes into it, which is the course itself, but the objective is really to keep your pipeline full and help you close more homes by developing an online marketing strategy, which involves using the most effective and relevant social networks and strategies that follow, and not just social media, but email marketing. A lot of folks seem to think that social media is the end all be all for online marketing today, and they tend to forget about email. But I'll tell you what, when you own an email address, meaning you have access to email someone, that's perhaps even more powerful than having someone follow you online. Because when you email someone, you're hitting them up directly on a channel. It's very near and dear to them. And where are most people reading their emails today? It's on their iPhone, it's on their smart device, right? More so than even on a laptop or a desktop computer, because most folks nowadays are constantly on the go, just like yourself and myself included. So in addition to social media marketing, you're going to learn about email marketing. You're also going to learn about customer relationship management. So if you've heard the term social selling before, which is using social media to identify who are your target buyers and prospects, and how to develop relationships with them in order to convert more sales and keep your pipeline full, that's what's known, once again, as social selling. This course is going to help you be more effective in all of the above. Now, here's what you're going to go ahead and learn over the 4 weeks. And I promise we're going to get into why we're here today. First is building a winning personal brand. And I'm going to teach you here in just a couple moments some different key tips and tricks and strategies to help you be more effective with building out your personal brand. And also how you can be found online by prospective clients. We're also going to talk about creating engaging content that converts to qualified leads. When you think about content is everything that we see, it's what we hear, it's what we feel, it's what we touch, digitally speaking. And when you really think about the best brands out there outside of real estate, you think about the best brands that you like to engage with, there's a reason why these brands are successful online. And a lot of that is the content that they're creating. It's what people are seeing, it's what they're engaging with, it's what they're sharing. We're also going to help you with developing a social selling strategy and build key relationships to keep your pipeline full year round. I was recently with a colleague of mine who's an agent, and I was letting him know, if you do anything right whatsoever on social media, and let's say you never create a lick of content, you're one of those agents, you're a multi-million-dollar producer, you have your business completely on lock, you have a great referral pipeline already. Use social media, if anything, at minimum, to build key relationships. And who are key relationships within your community? Think of, insurance agents. Think of, mortgage loan officers. Think of people within your chamber of commerce. Whoever your spheres of influence are that are helping you drive more business today. If you do anything at all on social media, how can you find more people like them? And guess what? I'm going to show you how you can do that by using LinkedIn. And then relevant topics that agents want to hear. I think the good advantage that I can say I have working with hundreds of agents throughout Keller Williams over the last year is I've been able to really hear what's important to all of you. And I've heard that Facebook ads continues to be something that you guys really want to hear about. Live video is something that you also want to hear about. How do you use live video and make your open houses, for example, more engaging? And then channel specific strategies. Let's face it, the way Facebook works, the way Instagram works, the way LinkedIn, Twitter, et cetera, are completely different. There's no linear path in terms of being successful on social media. You really have to build a strategy for each social network. And then finally, becoming the go-to real estate agent in your city or town should be your absolute top of mind priority. If you really want to go ahead and crush it on social media, you have to go ahead and develop a strategy that's gonna make anytime people think of real estate, anytime they think of real estate agent, you really want to be the person that comes to mind. Now, jumping right into today's lesson, it all starts with the 4 quadrants of a social media strategy. Think of this right here as the sales process in terms of how do you go from being where you're at today, at whatever stage you're at with your social media presence, to how you get to the point that you're able to actually drive sales. And it really starts with your personal brand. On the next slide, I'm going to share with you various personal branding strategies and tips. You have to have a personal brand. Even if you're not using social media to actively engage and actively drive quote unquote business through referrals, if you want to go ahead and have people trust you, if you want to be able to build spheres of influence, if you want to be able to build referral sources, you have to have a presence. If you have zero presence, then guess what? You're not going to be able to be found. So we start with personal branding is an absolute must. Whether you're an agent that's just getting started or you're a multi-million-dollar producer, you have to have a personal brand. Now, the next step in this process, so the next quadrant is content marketing. Once again, content is what people see, it's what they react to, it's what they feel, it's what they touch, it's what they share, what they can like, what they can comment on. So if you are an agent that wants to go ahead now and be well known through your personal brand and you really want to grow your brand will not grow unless you have content feeding your social media channels. So what's content for a real estate agent or even for a broker? It's listings, it's tips, it's you. What do you do in your community? If you really want to be viewed as the go-to agent in your community, then guess what? You have to create content in your community. And that's not just real estate content, that's happenings, it's current events. What do you do for fun? Some of the most successful agents that I have personally seen evolve over the last year, and specifically within the Keller Williams community, are those that have a story ongoing every single day. When you jump on, let's say, Instagram, they're creating a real-time story through Instagram stories of like what's happening in their day. That way, it's almost like your own reality show, if you will. But what they're also doing is subconsciously, they're sharing with you they're sharing with you listings, they're sharing with you clients that they're closing. So there's this perception, I think that's the key word here is perception, that they are an agent that's in demand. Because let's think about it. If I right now I'm getting ready to buy a home, I'm going to go to agents that I'm perceiving to be in demand, that people are already doing business with. And then the third step in the 4 quadrants of the social media strategy is engagement. So if you really want to blow social media out of the water, you have to find a way that you're consistently getting in front of people's faces. I've often said this in the corporate arena, and if you see me speak on stages all throughout the world on marketing, I always let CMOs and marketing executives know the secret sauce to becoming well-known or liked on social media is to be obnoxiously in people's faces all the time. And you have to do this. If you want to go ahead and play big on social media, you have to be in front of people all the time. They have to be seeing your name, they have to be seeing your face. Even if you outsource to a virtual assistant, let's think about this. People aren't necessarily going to know if it's you or if it's a virtual assistant, but what they're going to be seeing is going to be seeing your persona that's engaging with them. There's also things that you can set up like chat bots to automate a lot of these processes, such as liking and commenting and responding back. But engagement is the name of the game. So let's think about it like this before I talk about measurement. You create your personal brand, and that's just your place, your digital place on social media. From there, you start creating some content. You're going to get your name out there. People are going to engage with it. But then the engaging consistently piece, it really separates the agents that want to be good or average from great online. The ones that engage consistently are going on groups. They're having conversations on Twitter. They're having conversations on Instagram. They're responding anytime people comment or engage on their content. Anytime someone leaves them a review on Facebook, they're responding to those reviews. Now, I've heard this from agents time and again, that they just don't have the time to do this. And fortunately, I can show you ways that you can save a lot of time. In fact, I typically advise agents spend an hour a day. I'm sure most of us have an hour a day that we can devote to social media. It's spending 1 hour less, watching TV or doing whatever it is that occupies your time and just spending 1 hour. Or at the end of the day, you can also outsource and hire a VA to do a lot of these things for you. The last step is measurement. Measurement is really the key, because how are you going to know that you're successful in anything you're doing if you're not able to measure your success? And measurement is a combination of using tracking links and URLs. It's anytime that you post a piece of content, you're able to actually track if there's any leads that come out of it. And again, in the 4-week program, and you see the note at the bottom, each week we'll cover one of the 4 quadrants in our lesson, and we go really deep and we dive into detail. The measurement piece, which is session number 4, is critical, because if you're not seeing results from social media, then you're most likely doing something wrong. The activity could be the right activity, but could be the wrong way that you're posting links or you're posting content. I'll give you an example. I'll use Bitly for typically all the content that I create. I'll give you an example. Last night, I went ahead and tweeted out a link to this webinar, and the link that I tweeted wasn't the link that was provided by GoToWebinar or by Keller Williams, by Maps, I should say. It was through Bitly. I purposely use a Bitly URL shortener because through Bitly, I can now track how many clicks came as a result of my social media activity. If you want to go one step further, if there was any sort of like tracking code or whatnot, then I'd be able to track how many people actually signed up for this webinar from my social media sharing. And the same thing holds true for your own business. You want to be able to measure, what leads came your way from your social media activity. Now, let's jump into building a social media strategy, which really starts with personal branding. But the first step is identifying, who are you trying to reach? Are you trying to reach buyers, sellers, renters, or investors? And I ask this, and I put this here because based on who you're trying to reach is going to really determine what social networks you should really go heavy and focus on. I'll give you an example. If you're trying to find real estate investors, believe it or not, there are groups on Facebook. If you were just type in the search bar real estate investment or real estate investors, there are groups that are dedicated for investors. If you're trying to reach renters, you might have better luck promoting rental properties on Instagram, which is predominantly used by a younger audience. So the first step is really identifying who you're trying to reach. That's also going to determine not just the platforms that you're on, but it's also going to determine what content you put in front of them and how you speak to this audience. And then building a personal brand. So once again, why does personal branding matter? Let's think about you right now as an agent or as a broker. I would almost be willing to bet that those that do business with you, if they've been referred by another agent or by someone that you previously sold a home to or for, any referral business that comes your way, you've probably done a pretty good job to this point in building your personal brand within your community, that people feel comfortable in doing business with you. Well, the same rules apply online. People do business with who they feel comfortable doing business with. That's not just social media 101, that's just sales 101. Since the beginning of time, people are going to feel more inclined to do business with who they feel comfortable doing business with. Now, in the online context of this, if I have a Facebook page where I have reviews on that Facebook page, and anytime I sell someone a home, I invite them and encourage them to go to my Facebook page and leave a review. What's going to happen over a period of time? Let's say in a period of a year, I sell 25 to 30 homes and I get 25 to 30 reviews on my Facebook page. That's now proof of concept that I'm doing something right in my community and I'm helping people out. So that plays a big role in your personal brand, but it goes well beyond just a one-time static review. It's having people consistently promote you online. And that's really where the science of personal branding comes in. I see some of the most successful, for example, YouTube stars online today. And the reason why these people are famous and they're known on YouTube is not even because their content is good. It's because they've formed a very deep personal connection with their viewers, and their viewers are out promoting content for them. So in the context of being a real estate agent, that's exactly what we want to do. Is any single time someone says, I'm looking to buy a home, we want for the person that is in your network that's seeing that post to immediately connect you with them. I've done this for many real estate agents over the last several years, just being in this business now, doing a lot of training for real estate agents. So I built a real estate agent network of my own. And guess what? Anytime I see, regardless of where it is in the country, or even in the world for that fact of the matter, anytime I see people that are inquiring on Facebook or on Twitter about real estate, immediately what I do is I'll tag a handful of agents. And then it's a free for all at that point. Any agent can reach out to them. But here are some effective personal branding tips. So how are we going to get you to stand out on social media? The first is a professional headshot. It goes without saying that you need to look your best. First impressions do matter, especially when we're talking about real estate sales transactions, which can be hundreds of thousands of dollars up to millions of dollars. I've seen some really, bad agent profiles in which they don't have a professional headshot. It looks like their photo was just cropped out. They were at a club. They're on vacation. Professional headshot, it goes without saying, on every one of your social networks where you have a presence. Now I'm going to share with you here in just a moment the differences between a personal and professional profile. On Facebook, kind of the breakdown of each, but anywhere where you are promoting yourself as a real estate agent, have a professional headshot. Also, fill out your bio on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I should also have included LinkedIn on there and YouTube, assuming that you're on both. The reason why you want to fill out your bio on these social networks is because these social networks get optimized and picked up by Google. So you want to ensure that you have keywords on these profiles, which are going to get picked up. So let's just use Instagram, for example. You want to make sure that you have the keywords on there like realtor, real estate agent, Keller Williams, new homes, etc. You want to do the same thing for Twitter. You want to make sure your Facebook bio is completely filled out. Talking about LinkedIn, having a polished LinkedIn profile with a clean headshot and your headline plus summary filled out. So once again, we talked about a headshot being an absolute must. Then when you really think about the makeup of your LinkedIn profile, underneath that, you see a short summary, and then you see a longer form description. Again, these are keywords in your profile that often get overlooked. I would encourage you to run a Google search at the end of this presentation and run that Google search for your name followed by LinkedIn and see what comes up in the Google search results. What's going to come up is what is in your what's in your headline, which is your short form summary. It's going to be your name and then where you work and your title, and then right underneath that is going to be your headlines. Make sure that headline's filled out with keywords. Again, real estate agent, realtor, Keller Williams, etc. And then it goes without saying, if you want to go ahead and be relevant on social media and stay on top of mind, you have to post content. It is impossible for you to grow your personal brand if you're not posting content. You could run ads. I've had this argument before. People say, well, I can run ads. Yeah, that's still posting content. You're still getting in front of people. If you want to go ahead and grow organically, you have to post at least 1 to 2 times per day per channel. And then also leverage Twitter to have community conversations unrelated to real estate, but centric to your city or town. So what do I mean by that? Think of Twitter as a search engine. You can go on that search engine right now on twitter.com and you can type in your city and you can click latest, and you will now see in chronological order everyone that's tweeted about your search term. In this case, your city. So if I type in Los Angeles right now, I'll literally be able to see the last person that tweeted about Los Angeles, and then I can kind of pick and choose. So if there's something hot that's happening in your city, like let's say there's a big concert coming into town, there's a big event, there's a grand opening of a restaurant, whatever it might be, make sure you get involved in those conversations, whatever's even a passion to you. Like, for example, I'm a big sports fan. So sports is something that normally I'll talk about and I'll run searches. I'll just have conversations with people. Again, part of personal branding is less about trying to get the sale up front than it is more related to just building who you are as a person, making yourself known, putting yourself out there. And then last, leverage Instagram to engage in community-specific hashtags. So I'll share with you all an example right here from Instagram. I just ran a search for hashtag Keller Williams Realty. There's over 100,000 posts, as you see on the right-hand side. And the majority of these posts, if not all of them, are from Keller Williams agents, because let's think of it. You know, if I didn't work for Keller Williams, why would I use hashtag Keller Williams Realty in my content? So over 100,000 posts. It's a good mix of agents out in the field versus agents just out like in their everyday life. Again, like that's awesome. I love when agents are focusing on posting a good blend of professional content and personal content, because it goes back to the statement I said before: people do business with who they feel comfortable doing business with. So if you post a good mix of professional and personal content, then what's going to happen is people are going to start seeing that you're relatable. You're a human, right? There's things that you do outside of work. And then you see on the left-hand side how hashtags work right there on Instagram. For those of you that are either new to Instagram or if you're even already on Instagram, think of hashtags very similar to categories. So you could go to hashtag your city, hashtag your town, and you can literally see everyone that's posting content related to these categories, and then just jump in and start commenting or liking, for that fact of the matter. Moving forward to the differences between Facebook pages and profiles. Probably the question that I get asked the most by agents is, should I have both a page and a profile? And the answer is absolutely yes. The reason why is because you really can't promote your business without one or the other. A, you need a profile in order to have a page. B, you need a page in order to go ahead and run things like ads. You need a page in order to keep like all your business content contained within one universe. Now, let's kind of break down the differences between a page and a profile. Your page is where your clients, past and present, colleagues, and prospects will follow you. I often hear from agents that they want to keep their profile, personal. That's, for their very small network of friends and relatives, neighbors, and so forth. And that completely makes sense. I'll share with you guys, I work in marketing, and the reality is that my friends on my Facebook profile don't necessarily want to be consumed 24/7 with social media marketing content, because the majority of them are not social media marketers. So think of the same thing with your own profile. Within your business page, you can run ads, you can receive reviews, you can also post business contact information such as your website, your business address, your phone number, etc. There's a lot of functionality that business pages get, which profiles do not. And then your profile, once again, the makeup of your profile is mainly close friends, family, neighbors. It's where you share content occasionally from your page in addition to life outside of work. The key really here is to have a good balance. Go really heavy with business content on your page. Your profile, keep it much more personal, but then, occasionally maybe you share one or two pieces of content from your page over to your profile. Now, how to run Facebook ads like a pro. And I want to go ahead and point it out that we have an entire module dedicated to Facebook ads. So this is going to be very much the kind of quick and dirty overview of Facebook ads like a pro. First is set a monthly budget of at least $300 and put at least $10 behind a daily boosted post. You don't need a massive ad budget in order to go ahead and be successful on Facebook. I know that big brands, especially the ones I've worked for in the past, they have 6-7 figure ad budgets. The average real estate agent necessarily does not have that sort of capital in order to run Facebook ads, but with at least $10 a day, that's a $300 monthly budget. You can put $10 behind each post. Now, I want to spot this out. Facebook has been in the news obviously a lot lately for different reasons around data. One of the things that doesn't necessarily get talked about a lot about Facebook is they do penalize organic or non-sponsored posts, which link out to a website or YouTube video, or posts that have a call to action. So to summarize that, what's really important to note is that if you are posting posts on Facebook that have links that go back to your website, which I would probably guess that 99.9% of real estate agents either are, or most of their posts do have a link that goes back to their website because they want to drive leads. Guess what? You're getting lower organic engagement and reach on Facebook because Facebook's penalizing you for that. The flip side, though, is that promoted content is getting prioritized on Facebook because let's think about it, Facebook is in the business of selling ads and making money, not making you money, but making money for them. My recommendation and advice is that you keep promoted content on Facebook. However, set up lead generation forms within your page. So within Facebook business pages, you can set up lead generation forms very easily, and then you can run ad campaigns and where people are staying on Facebook and they're giving you their information there as opposed to going to your website. So again, Facebook is in the business for Facebook. They want to keep as many people contained on their site and their platform as possible. How do you do that? You have to go ahead and work within their sandbox. And then finally, create interest-based custom audience segments. I'm going to share with you over the next few slides how do you create your own custom audience. But the name of the game here is to ensure if you are spending $10 a day, which isn't a lot of money, that at least you're reaching the right audience. Now, before we open it up, 2 questions. How do you create a custom audience? Right here is a snapshot of what the Facebook Ads Manager tool looks like. You see several different marketing objectives here, such as creating brand awareness, drive traffic, drive engagement, drive video views, etc. What you're going to do for the most part is you're going to go ahead and either drive a combination of brand awareness, traffic, and video views back to your post content. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and be taken to this screen, which is where you start doing your audience targeting. So you have, just, raw, platform, raw data that now you have to go ahead and kind of tinker and play around with. So the first step is to select what location do you want your ads to be seen by. By default on my end, it has United States, and then it has ages 18 to 65. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I put myself in the shoes of an agent. I'm in LA, so I typed in Los Angeles. My average client ranges between the age of 30 years old and 45 years old, both male and female. So I put 30 to 45, typed in Los Angeles. You can see now the radius map. And then here's where it really gets intriguing and interesting, is detailed targeting. You want to ensure that you have these targeting parameters, because this is how you create a custom audience, and then this is how you start to segment it out. So I first put likely to move, and you can literally just put real estate, and what it's going to do is it's gonna come up with all these different recommendations. So I went through and I'm selecting people that are likely to move. They're interested in buying a house. They're interested in a new home. They're interested in real estate. You can go on and on and on. So I can put people that are interested in Zillow and Trulia. I can put in people that are interested in Keller Williams. The way that Facebook collects this data, and again, kind of going back to current events, Facebook's been in the news lately a lot for selling off data. Facebook's like Big Brother. They know all of our activities and habits because Facebook now is integrated into a lot of different websites through tracking pixels. Meaning if you go to a website and then you go back to Facebook, Facebook knows what websites you went to. So truth be told, if a client of yours is going on websites like Zillow or Trulia, or they're running Google searches even for homes, and Facebook's collecting all this data on the back end. The good thing and the advantage that all of you have is that you can now leverage this data and you can run ads using this data. So as you see, staying on this screen right here, just based on these parameters, my potential reach is 870,000 people. Now, I wouldn't run an ad targeting 870,000 people simply because you don't have a lot of money when you're working with a $10 ad budget. So you have to get really, really granular. If you look on the left-hand side where it says narrow audience, I would actually click on narrow audience and I would have a combination of factors. First of all, I'd shorten the age range. Probably, much shorter. I'd probably do like a 32 to 40 age range, and I'd really hone in on like my target market. For example, I've got a colleague that's an agent that works a market that's only a 5-mile radius. So he wouldn't need to target all of LA. He could target a 5-mile radius within a zip code in his target market. So that's going to go ahead and reduce exponentially the number of people that you're targeting. As narrow as you can get, and the reason why I call it segments is you want to have different segments also. Like you want to have a segment that is a first-time home buyer segment. You want to have a segment for resellers. You can even have a segment for people who are getting divorced, people are retiring, because again, these are all different segments and classifications of people that typically make home selling or home buying decisions based on life circumstances. And then, last, before we open it up for questions, is Facebook ad optimization tips. This right here is a mock ad that I created. Notice that instead of within the ad unit underneath the for sale sign, it says send message. most ads that I see agents posting are linking out to their website. Again, Facebook is penalizing this activity. So instead of linking out to my website with a learn more or click here button, it has a send message button. That way, if someone's interested, they can go ahead and click a send message. I only have a static image on here, but what I would recommend for an open house is that you have what's known as a carousel ad. So you have, 6, 7, 8 photos, what have you, and then people can literally scroll through and they can see that listing on Facebook instead of having to go to your website or go to Zillow or Realtor.com or anywhere else. And once again, we do have a module. It's module number 3 that's completely dedicated to Facebook ads. So hopefully this got your palate wet, and now you have a hungry appetite to learn more about Facebook ads. Now, next steps before we open it up to Q&A is I do have a private Facebook group. So I encourage you to join that. Go to facebook.com/groups/social media realtors. That is the URL. Go there. It's once again a private social media for realtors and real estate agents group. You have access to myself and other agents in there. I do recommend that you immediately at the end of this presentation update your LinkedIn profile with the basics, your profile photo, cover photo, summary, headline. Also find me on there, Carlos Gil, invite me to connect. And then pick one, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat as your home base for all things social media. Find me on there, connect, and what I'll do is I'll give you some advice, some feedback on how you can optimize and improve your profile. Just make sure you reach out to me though. Like you have to let me know, hey, I just heard your webinar today, and that way I'll know that we connected this way, and then I'll go ahead and take a quick look at your profile. And then within the Facebook Ads tool, be sure to create a custom audience, play around with it, even if you're not running any ads. Now, I just want to go ahead and throw this out there one more time. The 30-day guide to sell more homes online kicks off Monday, April 9th at 11 a.m. Central. We will be meeting for 4 weeks in April, all the way through the end of the month. All webinars are recorded and available for playback at your convenience. And then there is a one-time investment of $197, perhaps the best deal that you're going to find anywhere online for a fully comprehensive training program on using social media to help you grow your real estate business. And then you see the link there at the bottom. So I want to go ahead and thank you so much for spending your Tuesday morning or afternoon with me. And with that, I want to go ahead and turn it back over to the team at MAPS so I can answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, we have Sherry that asked about how many people should the target audience on Facebook ads be for the $10 limit?
Can you repeat that again?
About how many people should the target audience on Facebook ads be for a $10 limit?
You don't want it to exceed really 15 to 20,000 users. I find that to be the sweet spot, just because the more users, Facebook's going to charge you for every action that someone takes, and or they're going to charge you for every time that there's an impression on that ad. So you figure you want that ad to be seen as many times as possible by a small subset. So I'd say kind of keep that, within 15 to 20,000 people.
Okay, I live in San Antonio and want to target people in LA and Houston who are looking to move to San Antonio. Can this be done?
Absolutely. That's a great way to use Facebook ads. For someone that lives in California, or speaking as someone that lives in California where we have very high taxes and where real estate's very expensive, if I saw an ad for a big house in San Antonio for a 200,000 or 300,000 price point, and the ad literally said, "Come move to San Antonio where this could be your dream home and you'd pay no state income tax," I think something like that would be a great hook.
Okay. What do you anticipate the impact of Facebook problems?
I think the impact, quote unquote, will be minimal. I don't think Facebook's going to go anywhere. People are going to continue to use Facebook ads. I think that it's going to continue to be business as usual.
Okay, well, that's all the questions that I see. So anyone else have any questions, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Okay, Carlos, looks like that's it for today. Following this webinar, again, if you have any questions, you can email us at fasttrack@kw.com. Be sure to go sign up for Social Media for Real Estate Agents. That starts on April 9th. Well, Michael Steffi just asked, will there be a discussion on equipment? I'm not really sure.
Absolutely, there will be.
Okay, great. Well, that's all for today. Thank you, Carlos, for joining us, and we'll see y'all on April 9th.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time.